What happens when a country's justice system gets so overwhelmed that your freedom, it just becomes a waiting game? Today, we're going to look at a system that's right on the brink and some pretty unlikely heroes who are stepping in to try and rebalance the scales. So let's just start with a number that sets the stage for everything else. 66%. Think about that. That's the percentage of inmates in Nigeria's prisons who haven't even been convicted of a crime. They're just waiting for trial, caught in a system that just can't keep up. For tens of thousands of people, this means years of their lives are just lost in limbo. So yeah, this isn't just some statistic, it's a massive crisis of human liberty.
And if you're asking, how does a crisis like this even happen? Well, it looks a lot like this. This quote, it's from an assessment of the Legal Aid Council office in Lagos, and it just paints this incredibly bleak picture. Can you even imagine trying to handle thousands of legal cases with no power, using your own phone as a flashlight, in an office that's millions of naira in debt to the power company? It's just impossible.
And that's the stark reality. This is not just a Lagos problem. Right across the country, the very organization that's supposed to provide justice for the poor is in a state of emergency itself. It's a system that is literally teetering on the edge of collapse.
So let's take a closer look. What does on the brink really mean for the people on the front lines every single day? And of course, for all the people who desperately depend on them.
The challenges are just crippling. In Edo State, the legal aid office hasn't had electricity for 5 years. 5! In the capital, Abuja, lawyers are literally paying for their clients' bus fare out of their own pockets. And nearly everywhere, records are still kept by hand, on paper, which makes trying to track a case, it's a nightmare. And at the very heart of all of this is a critical shortage of people to do the work.
And that shortage, as you can probably guess, creates a workload for the few people who are left that is just beyond belief. Let's actually put some numbers to just how impossible their job is.
Okay, just look at this table. The imbalance is what's so staggering here. In Abia State, you have one single lawyer responsible for over 500 cases in a year. One. In a huge city like Lagos, only 16 lawyers served over 1,000 people. And the so what here is devastating. It means justice gets delayed, lawyers are completely burned out, and people are stuck in jail way longer than they should be, all because the system just cannot cope.
In this image, it really reminds us that behind all these staggering numbers are real people. You can see the staff here in a meeting in Abuja trying to figure out how to solve these exact issues, trying to find some path forward when the pressure is just immense.
So with a problem this big and this deep, where does a solution even come from? Well, it turns out it comes from a new kind of first responder, the community paralegal.
You see, in a system where lawyers are stretched so incredibly thin, community paralegals are being brought in as a force multiplier. They are the bridge between their local communities and the formal, often really intimidating legal system. They're being trained to be that first point of contact, the guides, the advocates right there on the ground.
The whole strategy is to power up something called the clearinghouse model. The best way to think of it is like an air traffic control system for legal aid. It makes sure the right cases get to the right people and fast. But here's the crazy part. Before this project started, a lot of the legal aid staff themselves didn't even really know how this model was supposed to work. That just shows you how vital this intervention really is.
And this brings us right to the heart of the transformation, because this isn't just about a new system. It's about empowering the people who can actually make that system work. It's the story of forging a brand new front line for justice.
And here it is. This is the number that represents real hope, 144. That's how many community paralegals were just trained and equipped across 8 states to step right into that gap. These are the new heroes of this story.
And was it effective?
Well, the impact was immediate, and you can measure it. Just look at this data from Kano State. Before the training, only 31% of the participants really understood how to refer a case. After, a staggering 86%. This isn't just a small bump, it's a massive leap in what they're able to do.
And behind that data is this incredible, newfound confidence. This quote from a paralegal in Anambra just says it all, doesn't it? It's that shift from being unsure to being empowered, from being confused to having a really clear purpose. This is what real change sounds like.
So what exactly did these 144 heroes learn that was so transformative? Well, it's about giving them a powerful new tool that can help fix a really broken part of the system. It's called restorative justice.
They were trained in restorative justice, and this is a really profound shift in thinking. Instead of just asking, okay, what law was broken and who do we punish? It asks, who was harmed and how can we actually repair that harm? It's a focus on healing, not just on punishment.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's about getting people to talk. Victims, offenders, community members. Then it's about agreeing on how to repair the harm. And here's the crucial part. It's about resolving conflicts before they ever get into the clogged court system. For a system where 66% of people are just waiting for trial, this is a total game changer. It attacks the case backlog problem right at the source.
And this is not just some theory. In states with huge case volumes, it's already being put to work. Kano is planning to use restorative justice for minor crimes, which is a direct strategy to clear out its crowded facilities. The Federal Capital Territory is becoming a national model for how to do this right. Across the board, these newly skilled paralegals are building collaboration between legal aid, the police, and justice ministries, the kind of teamwork that's absolutely essential for the system to heal itself.
Okay, so training 144 people is a massive win. But how do you make sure that this spark actually becomes a sustainable fire? Well, that's the path forward. The strategy has a bunch of parts. It includes ongoing monthly trainings to keep skills sharp, making partnerships official with signed agreements, creating a national training manual so everyone is on the same page, and, this is critical, pushing for the government funding needed to fix those deep-rooted problems, like, not having electricity in the first place. And it is so important to recognize that a change this big doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's a huge collaborative effort, funded by the European Union and put into action by organizations like PRAWA and International IDEA, all working together to help strengthen Nigeria's justice system.
Look, the challenges are absolutely immense. They're rooted in decades of neglect and underfunding. But by empowering people in their own communities with new skills and a whole new way of looking at justice, a real shift is starting to happen. So we're left with this hopeful question. With 140